Hey guys, it's Kara here, and I wanted to do somewhat of a motivational video for you guys because I've been doing more kind of like self-love type messages on Instagram, and I realize that tends to get the most feedback from my followers. And I've been thinking about it a lot since I stopped competing, but not focusing on the number on the scale as much. So you'll see me kind of post about that a lot on Instagram. And I wanted to do a video talking a little bit more about that, and that you're more than just a number, which is also Tiger Fitness's slogan, basically. That's kind of what they advertise to their followers, is you're more than just a number, and that applies in so many different ways. But I really wanted to kind of share this message with my audience and my followers, male or female. I think it applies to everyone, and hopefully if you're looking for a little bit of motivation, or maybe you just need to hear this, hopefully this video finds you and helps pick you up a little bit. So I wanted to talk about this because I myself have suffered from being way too focused on the number on the scale. Actually, from an extremely young age, I was hyper focused on being a set weight or how much did I weigh, and that kind of carried with me throughout my entire life, especially in competing. For me, I really focused on the number on the scale. And since I haven't competed in like almost 2 years, this is something that I have learned that I had to find my balance with, and I really feel like I'm in a better place with it. I had to kind of step back from weighing myself so much, because for me, and not everyone is going to feel this way, but for me, if I stepped on the scale and I hit a certain number, it would literally dictate my mood, how I felt for the day, how I felt for the week maybe, and that's not healthy, and that's not good. And that's kind of the mindset I had for a certain period of time when I was done competing, and I wasn't restricting my intake as much, and I wasn't doing as much cardio. My weight went up. And for the past year and a half, 2 years, I've been at a higher adult weight than I ever had been in my life. And it took me a long time to get to the point I'm at now. And my new sweet spot, I guess you'd say, not that it really matters how much you weigh, but for me, my body, I feel like really likes 118. I'm 5'2", and I really feel like 118 is kind of where my body kind of likes to revert to if I'm not being hyper focused on my macros or consistently doing cardio and things like that. And for me, a couple years ago, that number used to be more like 113. And maybe that sounds like, oh, that's 5 pounds, who cares, you're still a small person. It doesn't matter whether you're small, big, or what size you are. For everyone, we tend to kind of have that number that makes us feel good or makes us feel bad. And if you don't, that's great. But for me, I kind of always did. I had this number that I needed to be at to feel good about myself, or to feel like I was doing okay. And I've really had to pull myself away from that. And I want to encourage you guys to do so as well. With changing my attitude and my training after competing for so long, I did go to, well, for a while I didn't track, and I did whatever the hell I wanted to do. But then I started working with Mark, and I did more of a flexible dieting approach. And that really helped me out. However, the one thing that we did do was daily weigh-ins. And I can understand from a coaching perspective where that is very helpful, because you start to see trends. And it is very helpful because I have like a year's worth in an Excel sheet of my weights that I could look back to my FitnessPal and see how I was eating and see how things kind of adjusted and changed. And really focusing on the trends, you can get really good information from that. So I think if you have the right mindset and the right attitude about things, and you're realistic and understand when you're going to weigh more one day or not, and can deal with it okay, I think you're all right. But for me, I was getting to the point where stepping on the scale every day was just making me mental, and it was almost giving me anxiety. I would get anxious, like the night before I'd go to bed, oh my God, if I don't get up the next morning and my weight isn't down, like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. You know what I mean? Like, it really started making me very anxious about the number. And then if I didn't like the number, or if it went up and I'm like, what the heck, man? I ate everything I was supposed to yesterday. I followed my macros. I lifted, or I did my cardio. I did everything I was supposed to do. And that weight went up. It would just, like, seriously send me into this spiral. First thing in the morning, started my day out, like, in a bad way. And that's just not healthy. So for me, the daily weigh-ins, I did okay with them for a while, and then I just started to get mental and anxious about it, and I'm not sure if any of you guys can relate. Please comment below. Hopefully someone else can relate to this. But it was getting to be too much for me, where I almost felt like it was causing me more stress, and if anything, it was almost preventing me from reaching my goals, because I was so focused on that stupid number, which, as you know, can fluctuate so much. It was just kind of ridiculous, and it was not helpful for me. So for me, I stepped back from that. I stopped weighing myself for a while, and now I'm back to the point where I am weighing myself a couple times a week just to check in. Now, I know some people, if you don't have issues where it's mentally throwing you off track and you can step on the scale every day because that's what keeps you on track and keeps you motivated and keeps you going, then I think that's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with stepping on a scale if you're not so focused on it where it dictates your day, it dictates your mood, dictates your eating choices. I think if you can just use it as a tracking mechanism to see trends, keep you accountable, it's great. But there's many of us that can't do that, and I will admit I'm one of them, and I can still struggle with it. I'm better now that I'm only checking like a couple times a week, and I think that's where I need to stay, is just a couple times a week. I think every day is just too much for me personally. But there's plenty of other ways to track your progress, and for me, as soon as I stopped tracking on the scale every day, I felt so relieved. And it was almost easier for me to be motivated to reach my goals. I was more motivated to make healthier food choices. I was more motivated to go to the gym and work out. And it's kind of funny how that worked. But for me, that's personally what helped me. I kind of needed this reset period where I wasn't tracking my weight so closely. I wasn't just tracking every little thing I did so closely. And I think that's what helped me become more successful and kind of give my body the kickstart that it needed. So for me to be able to do that, I then started focusing on, eating healthier, and then I felt better. I had better energy. I felt like I looked better. I started doing more progress photos and comparing those to go, man, I still look good. Like, my stomach's still flat, my butt looks full, my waist isn't ginormous, I'm not a whale, like, just using other ways to track my progress and feel good about myself without looking at the scale and having to reach a certain number or worrying about if I'm going up or down. So for me, I found that to be very helpful. So for you guys, if you're in a place where you're weighing in constantly and you're finding that it takes away your motivation, then just back away from it. The scale doesn't have to be your end-all be-all. You can reach your goals without stepping on the scale whatsoever. I think you can reach your goals and see progress without tracking your macros religiously. It can be done. It's whatever works for you and keeps you motivated. And that is different for every person. So you really have to figure out what works best for you. And if you need a break from tracking your weight, then do it. And don't feel bad about it. And don't beat yourself up about it, because that's another thing we tend to do, is beat ourselves up, about the choices that we make. If we're not being so strict, or as strict as we see our, Fitspos on Instagram. Like, don't worry about them. Focus on you. Focus what keeps you motivated. And that may change. I know for me, it's always a continuum. What motivates me and keeps me going to the gym and keeps me focused on my goals it changes. Like, there's not one set thing that always works for me. You know, I have to constantly reassess what I need to do to keep things fresh, to keep me energized and excited about reaching my goals. So I just want you guys to know you are more than a number. I am more than 118 pounds or 121 pounds, or if I get down to 114 pounds, who cares? It doesn't matter what number you are on the scale. If you're not happy with yourself, or if you have to restrict yourself so much that you have super bad mood swings and you don't want to be around anyone and you don't want to do anything you enjoy doing because, you know, you're so fatigued and tired and cranky. You know what I'm saying? So the number is just that. It's just a number, you know, and I just posted on my Instagram, having abs doesn't mean you're healthy. It doesn't mean you're fit. It doesn't mean you're happy. Find other ways to be motivated. And for me, like, that'd be badass if I had a six-pack right now. But I don't. And I've never once in my life walked around, like, having a six-pack unless I was stage ready. Like, 2 days before I'd have some abs appear. You know, that's not how I look in my everyday life. But you know what? I am proud of my body. I'm proud that I treat it right, that I feel like I take good care of myself, and that I put myself first, and I try to get good sleep, and I try to manage my stress, and I try to make sure I'm eating enough fruits and vegetables and drinking enough water. And why not love myself and be proud of my body for all those things, and not what it says when I step on the scale in the morning? You know, and it sounds simple, and maybe it sounds cheesy, but that's what I've been doing a lot of lately, and that's why a lot of my Instagram posts are more focused on self-love and loving myself for those reasons, because for so long I was that insecure girl in high school wanting to be other girls and wanting to look like her. I wish I had her life and all those things, and you never really know what's going on in someone else's mind. They could be having the same struggles as you. I have met so many people and became friends with so many people, especially like in the gym setting, who get to know me and they realize I have the same struggles they do. They look at me and think because I'm a small person, I've never struggled with the mental challenges of my weight, or not thinking I'm good enough, or not thinking I'm skinny enough or pretty enough, or And people realize, man, you have had the same, not the same struggles, but I guess the same mental struggles, I should say. You know, you never know what someone else is going through. So the biggest thing I can say to you guys, and I hope this reaches some of you, is just to try to love yourself for other reasons. If the scale is not what's motivating you, then don't use it, and don't beat yourself up about the little things on a day-to-day basis. Think about the bigger picture, and think about your health and what your body can do for you, and be grateful for that. We are so privileged to be here and to be able to do the things we can do. I'm so privileged that I can go to the gym every day. I can afford a gym membership. I have a car that I can drive myself to the gym. I can actually run and, you know, lift weights, and that's more than some people can say. You know, so I'm trying to be grateful and, you know, just appreciate those little things versus that stupid number on a scale. And that's just my attitude right now, and I want you guys to know you're more than just a number. And I hope this helps you if you needed to hear this today, or maybe save it in your playlist if you're having a bad day and you need to hear it, because I don't feel positive every day either. I have to self-talk and give myself these positive thoughts, or sometimes change my attitude and how I'm looking at things, because we can all be negative, and we're usually our worst critic, and we're usually the hardest on ourselves in the way we view ourselves. We can just be so mean to ourselves sometimes. And I don't know why that is, but we are. We can just be really, really negative towards ourselves, and I think we need to stop and appreciate what you have, and appreciate every day like it's your last, you know? And I don't want to spend my last day worrying about what freaking number I was on the scale, because who cares? Who cares? So that's my message for you guys today. You are more than just a number. I love you all. You guys are awesome. Please share this video with others, and Please, if you post yourself in a self-love photo on Instagram, please tag me in it. I'd love to see them. It motivates me as well. We're all here to support and bring each other up, you know, and make each other feel good. So I hope this video finds you guys well. Please give it a thumbs up and keep checking back for more. Level and my form. But just to kind of get used to a little bit heavier weight, this is 155 I did here. Definitely like form not perfect, wicked slow coming up. I did try to make sure I was, you know, focusing on my form and trying to keep my core tight. And